Today's video is brought to you by Squarespace, my go-to for building a website and online shop. Hello, dear friends. Last month, you all saw me start a new oil painting for the first time in 5 months. We are now on month 6, and I have moved on from the underpainting that you see here that I worked on last month to rendering, which, let me just say, turned out to be a lot more difficult than I remembered, and it is certainly leagues more difficult than scumbling in this underpainting. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into my candid thoughts about what it's like to render with oil paint again after a 6-month hiatus. In some ways, this was a very interesting experiment for me because I think this is the longest I have gone without oil painting in my life, ever since I started oil painting full time, of course. And I wondered if it was going to be like riding a bike, where you can kind of just remember how to do it intuitively. And when I was doing the poster studies and doing the underpainting, I actually felt like I was able to pick up where I left off pretty well. There wasn't any sort of palpable, immense sense of struggle until I got to rendering. Rendering, I now know, requires a whole different league of skills. It's like infinitely harder than just doing poster studies where all you have to do is tile colors next to each other. You don't have to worry about precision or detail or smooth blending. It's definitely different than the underpainting where you're working monochromatically and you're kind of just setting down the starting point, the preparation, for the rendering stage. And I also feel like those beginning underpainting stages, the stakes feel lower because you know that whatever mistakes or issues or imperfections you make can be fixed or improved upon or just painted over in the next stage, which is rendering. But rendering, I just immediately felt this sense of stress because I realized, wow, like you actually have to juggle a lot when you render. 1 is paint consistency, 2 is the application of your paint, and 3 is color mixing, which was a huge issue for me. So I'll go down the list one by one. First is the paint consistency. There's such a narrow window for the ideal paint consistency to be used. Whether you're using fresh paint or old paint, obviously a fresher paint is more ideal, but the paint needs to be spreadable and buttery, but not too runny and definitely not too tacky. And I realized that when I was painting all the time, I kind of had this muscle memory of just knowing exactly when the paint is at the perfect consistency. I didn't really have to think about it. I would know exactly how much medium to mix or how much linseed oil to pre-mix into my paints. I just knew, based on feel, this is the correct paint consistency. But after not painting for 6 months, I completely lost that intuition. And so my first initial few brush strokes, I was using way too much medium, and then I wasn't using enough medium. And either way, it took me a bit of time and a few mistakes to figure out how to sense the correct paint consistency again. The second is paint application. So not only does the paint itself have to be the correct consistency, but you have to load up enough paint, just enough paint, onto your brush. So at first I was painting too thin. There was not enough paint on my brush, and it felt like I was just still doing the underpainting. I was just scrubbing things in with a dry brush technique. And then I was using way too much paint and not able to control it. It got too unruly. And then, kind of like with the paint consistency, I had to undershoot it, then overshoot it, then slowly recalibrate myself until I figured out, oh yes, this is the correct paint consistency and the correct amount of paint to load on my brush. And speaking of brushes, there are also ideal and not so ideal brushes to use depending on what object you're rendering. I immediately sprung for my newer brushes, and quickly realized that something just felt really awkward and stiff about rendering skin with a brand new brush. And I couldn't believe I forgot this because I literally used the same brushes to render faces for years. And just, taking like 5 or 6 months off, I forgot my ideal brushes, my favorite brushes. Basically, my favorite brushes to use are small filberts. I used a size 2/0 filbert from Rosemary brush line, from the Eclipse type of brush. And I have this old one that I've used for many years, and the bristles are all poofy and frayed and kind of messy. And that's what creates these like loose, organic, kind of automatically self-blending brush strokes. And I completely forgot about my go-to brush, the one that I held in my hand for hours and hours every single month. Taking some time off, my brain completely forgot. So the last thing that I struggle with is color mixing. Like usual, I way overshot and made all the colors way too bright, way too saturated, and I had to repaint so many areas to dull them down and mute them so they weren't screaming like loud Lisa Frank rainbows. And it took me a while to remember how to mix those nice, subtle, nuanced neutrals. So safe to say, I struggled with every single aspect of rendering. It was a lot more difficult than I remembered. But I think once I approached kind of the end of this segment that you're seeing now, I finally got into the groove of things. And hopefully when I continue painting this, it'll be easier because those chrysanthemums are going to be so challenging. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know why I set myself up to paint them. But next month's videos should be interesting as I try to tackle those flowers. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching and listening to me ramble. And I will see you all in the continuation of this painting video series. Bye. And of course, you guessed it, my eternal never-ending sale is still going on in my shop. So if you'd like 20% off your order of prints and originals, just enter the code HOLIDAY at happyd-artist.com. And if you're interested in learning more about how to paint and draw, I have lots of art educational content on my Patreon page, including exclusive video tutorials, step-by-step photo tutorials, live streams, podcasts, and even surprise art gift boxes. All available at patreon.com/happydartist. I'd love to have you join my Patreon family. A big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video and supporting the art community. I've been using Squarespace for 10 years now, and it's been an integral part of being able to make a living as an artist. Aside from their beautiful, customizable templates and easy-to-use interface, Squarespace now has so many robust tools to help make website building be both effective and intuitive. There's a new design intelligence feature that uses a combination of industry experience and cutting-edge AI to help you make a website bespoke to your brand and digital identity. Squarespace takes the intimidation out of setting up an online shop with their intuitive e-commerce platform that accepts every type of payment method you can imagine, all with just a few simple clicks, so you can easily sell your work all around the world. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/happydartist to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Also, if you want to check out more artworks, works in progress, and just random daily artist adventures, feel free to check out my Instagram, and you can follow me at the handle @happydartist.